15 signs.
Welcome to Both Sides Now.
I know if someone's gaslighting you.
Unconventional duo, Dr. Shirley and Medium Kellee. Two perspectives, one world. This is Both Sides Now.
Yay! Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Both Sides Now. I'm Dr. Shirley.
And I'm spiritual medium, Kellee White. And welcome, Shirley. Welcome back.
Thank you. I heard you guys had the best show last week.
We did. Hi, John.
John, yes. Hi. Where's John?
I'm here.
I don't see your little tiny little face in the middle of our table. There
He
you are.
is.
Hello.
Well, and hello, everyone, for watching. I just got back from a fabulous vacation.
Tell us all about it, Cheryl. Tell everybody where you went.
I went to Italy, my favorite country in the world next to Greece, but I didn't go to Greece, and France. And it was just amazing. I'll put up a picture on our, we'll put up a picture on the Facebook.
Okay.
You know, or the Instagram, yeah. It was just beautiful. We went to Capri. We went to Florence. We just, so beautiful. We said it was her graduation present. Because, you know, mom's smart. She gives her daughter a graduation present that she can enjoy too.
It's the best kind.
I know, right?
That's the best
We had a
kind.
fabulous time. And then we ended in my, it sounds so obnoxious to say this, but it's true, my friend's castle in France, which is literally a castle. I found out it was built in 1290.
Wow.
And at some point down the road, they built the wing that Sid and I stayed in for the Queen's mother.
Wow.
So she apparently slept in the bed that I slept. Well, I don't know. I guess it's the same bed. I don't know. This was years ago. With the Queen's mother. Yeah, the Queen who's like 100 now.
Wow.
And it's just, we'll throw up a picture. It is a true castle. It's gorgeous. And it's homey. You would ask me if it was cold, and it wasn't. It's very homey. And it's
I actually
gorgeous.
asked if it was haunted.
Well, interestingly enough.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, interestingly enough, Sid and I had been there. They've had it for 25 years. They do songwriting retreats there because her husband is in the music business. And and so when Sid and I got there in 2015, we thought it's got to be. And she's very sensitive to energies. And because of you now, I've become sensitive to it too. And we didn't feel it. And so I asked my friend's husband, do you know anything about spirits? And, you know, and so he says he's very kind of
shut down, or
not shut down, but very matter of fact. I mean, you think I'm a left brain? So he said, yeah, I brought somebody in, and they said, I scare them so they don't come. And he looks like the villain in he's the sweetest guy in town, and he looks like the villain in every scary movie. So I got it. I said, oh yeah, you're right.
That's funny.
You totally understand. And so, yeah, so this time around too, you can tell that it has a lot of history and that there are energies there, but nothing negative, nothing heavy, nothing, you know. Oh, it was beautiful. And then we spent the last day and night in Paris, and Sid and I had the absolute best meal. Well, I took pictures. I kept taking pictures of all the food for Kelly. And at one point she goes, oh my God, send me more food porn. It was so funny.
I love to see those
never heard
pictures.
that expression, food porn. So I kept taking pictures of every plate. Yeah. I had that last day. Sid was taking a nap. I went to the corner brasserie and I had a glass of wine and duck, you know, foie gras.
Confit.
No, that was dinner.
That was,
and it was a big chunk of that duck pate terrine. So it was cold. I thought, okay, I'm just going to eat half. This is so rich. I ate the whole thing.
And you have a real sensitive stomach.
Oh my God. Sydney said that night my stomach sounded like I was in a scary movie. Oh,
wow.
I didn't get sick. I didn't feel sick at all. But the next day at the airport, I was climbing the stairs. I wasn't taking the escalator. I was climbing all the stairs, climbing up and down, going, okay, this is not going to get me. It was, it was just so fun and so relaxing, and I needed that break. And so now
I'm back. Yay. Well, we're so glad you're back, Shirley. Wow.
Thank you, honey. I'm going to see you not next week and the weekend after. Oh, Joanne, thank you so much. Joanne saying, welcome back, Shirley. We missed you.
Yeah, we did, Shirley. Well, I think today, because we have such a fascinating topic, it's so fascinating. But
Yeah.
let me start with a little bit of astrological
Please do.
things that are
Yeah.
going on right now, because something really interesting is happening, and it is a rare event that, as I've been talking about for weeks and weeks and months now. I mean, we are in a really different astrological time than probably ever before, and
Mm.
what we're coming up to right now is called a stellium. A stellium. A stellium means it's when three or four planets, three or more, I should say, planets, are in one particular sign, and it's really rare. It's a rare
That's
event,
interesting. Yeah.
and this stellium is in Virgo, and this
Mm.
comes up. It started. The first part of it started 2 days ago. No, yesterday. Yesterday was the 18th. Today's the 19th. Yeah,
Yes.
yesterday on August 18th, and that was in Mars. So that means Mars went into Virgo 2 days or yesterday. And when Mars is in Virgo, it's calculated. There's calculated actions. So all of this in Virgo really plays into what I'm gonna about to say. But and then on the 21st of August, um, it goes. Venus goes into also into Virgo. So
Mm.
Venus. So far we've got Mars and then Venus into Virgo, and that's going to be kind of nitpicking at love, expressing love the way a Virgo does. I mean, if you think Virgos, they're a little they can be very warm, but they can also be kind of nitpicky,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
that's going to go into Venus. And then on August 23rd, the Sun goes into Virgo. Now that happens to be James's birthday, James Van Prague's birthday on August 23rd.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the Sun goes into Virgo. So then Sun is in Virgo and everything that Virgo represents. And then also on that day, the asteroid Juno goes into Virgo. That's a lots of
So,
areas going into Virgo, but then it culminates on August 30th with the new moon in Virgo. That means from August 29th until September 13th, we have 6 events happening in Virgo. That's
Wow.
a lot of Virgo energy. Let me tell
yeah.
you what it means for
Yeah.
everybody out
Please
there,
do.
okay? And the high point is on August 30th. And it means perfectionists. It means
Mm.
traits of perfection. It means work, but also it means this: changing life habits. So you're thinking about changing a life habit. This is the time to do it.
Wow.
Between
Okay.
now, I'm going to say, well, particularly between August 29th and September 13th. It also means a new career path. So people that have been wondering, what am I going to do? I think you'll get some clarity during this period of time. It also means a differentiation between who you are and what you do. So it's a
Hmm.
difference, it's a differentiation.
Hmm. Hmm.
It
Hmm.
also means learning to take care of yourself, which is what I have said from the beginning of the year. This is
Yeah.
really put your own
That
oxygen
has been a
mask on,
theme.
but
Yeah.
it's the same theme. And it also means reaching out to people who may need help, because Virgo is of service. Virgo means to be of service. So it's a real personal time of reflection and taking action into changing your life through the eyes of a Virgo. I mean, Virgos are perfectionists. We like organization. We like things taken care of. We do like to help.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
will affect my husband greatly because his birthday is smack in the middle of that, September 8th. And it will affect all Virgos or anybody with planets in Virgo. I happen to have a lot of them in Virgo, so it'll affect me. Um, so it's going to be a very interesting time, and it's a rare time. So I really wanted to discuss that today.
Oh, good. Good. I'm glad that you brought it up. And so it's about really kind of honing in on who you are, what you want to do, being
Mhm.
of service.
Yep.
Yeah.
Life path change, new career paths of work. It means to work. Virgo's a worker
Yeah.
bee.
Yeah.
So it's all
Yeah.
about,
Ah,
working,
so
getting
true.
yourself together, getting your life together. I mean, when you have 6 events all in Virgo, it's very rare. This is
Hmm.
one of the big rarities of the year, and
Wow.
particularly now. So
Wow.
fascinating time we are living in.
Yeah.
Every week
This
there's
whole
like
year,
something new to talk about.
but this whole year seems
Oh,
like it's been astrologically really, really
oh,
interesting.
challenging like nobody's
Yeah.
business. But this
Yeah.
Virgo really hones it in like this.
Hmm.
Think of Virgo as
Yeah.
the great trainer. We just had a dog trainer today, and I I kind of was hard pressed. I thought, I wonder if he's a Virgo. He's a Gemini. Not too, I mean, a little different, but still with that same kind of feel.
Oh, that's so
It's
funny. My
interesting.
sister's a Virgo, so I know exactly.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean,
Yes, I
and
do.
it can be like critical.
Oh, she is like, if you looked at Virgo,
Yeah.
you know, in an astrological chart, her picture would be there
Well,
waiting.
you know what, Shirley, her birthday, I know her birthday. It actually falls into this time period between August
Really?
29 and September 13th. Yeah.
Yeah, she's on the
So that'll
4th.
be an interesting time. Well, let's go into
Yes,
what a interesting
gaslighting.
topic,
I know,
gaslighting.
very interesting topic.
Oh,
Let me get to where
mm,
my notes are. It's interesting because do you remember the movie? I think it
yeah,
was
gaslight
40, right.
in the
And the title
early
came
40s.
in the early 40s. Yeah, the
Hmm.
title came from the husband dimming the gas lights in the house
Yes.
little by little and then denying it so she would go crazy, so she would
Yeah.
think. And it's all about questioning your own reality. I mean, that's what gaslighting is when the people around you cause you to question your own reality.
Yes. And
Um,
the people that do it are really sociopathic. I mean, they're really sociopaths.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Because, when you create doubt, it's used to manipulate. When you create doubt and you start to question yourself and your own reality, then you're a lot more susceptible to what someone else is telling you.
Absolutely.
And
And that's
that's,
why I've
I
always
mean,
said, know thyself. Learn everything you can about yourself.
absolutely,
But
absolutely. I mean, politics works that way too. Anything,
yeah.
any kind of power. You know, we were talking about it, not gurus, but
Well, we're going to talk
uh,
about the spiritual gaslighting because
the
I do want to
spiritual.
talk
Yeah.
about that.
Well, the cult leaders.
Cult
That's
leaders.
the word that I was
Totally.
looking for.
Yeah.
It includes, but it's not limited to denial, lighting, deflection, contradiction to make the target question their reality. So when you say no, that didn't happen, and so we don't remember things exactly.
Hmm.
But even if it's happening right in front of you and someone else
Right.
says no, that's not happening, we're bound to question ourselves, which that's what makes it so fascinating.
Wow.
You
Yeah.
know, like
It's
if I tell you I'm wearing, I don't know, tan today, and you go, no, that looks more orange. And I will literally go, oh, well, maybe it is a little orangey. It's the weirdest thing. I mean, that's the way I guess how
right.
humans, how we
Well,
work.
I mean, in couples, it's
Yeah.
awful. I mean, you'll have one that will say,
Yeah.
"Well, I never said that." No, you're making things up again. Somebody
Hmm.
who it's really about control, and control. Well, you have a bad memory, you know.
Absolutely. It makes you doubt your own perception, your
Totally.
feelings, and your memory, even your own feelings. No, you didn't really feel that way about it.
Yeah.
And you will start to question, wait, did I feel that way? Or maybe I shouldn't be feeling that way. So when you say know thyself, it's so important. I mean, it really is key to knowing yourself well enough to know that even if someone questions it, that doesn't
Hmm.
mean that we close off and um, we don't take into consideration how someone else is perceiving us that we may not be fully aware of. But that's
Hmm.
a little different than knowing yourself well enough.
Right, right. Well,
You know,
and Rebecca, it's a great question. Are narcissistic people known to gaslight?
oh,
Yes, because they have
all
no
personality
empathy. They
disorder.
don't give a shit.
Yeah, yeah,
They're the
yeah.
worst.
And
Ugh,
what happens is when you start to question your reality,
yeah.
you start to question your own sanity, and it
Hmm.
literally causes you to feel insane. Like
Mm,
I can't trust my own reality. I mean, it really is. There's so many things attached to it, and the levels of how sane or insane you feel can be different. The
right.
unfortunate piece is that kids are very susceptible to it, particularly when adults, and hey, I include myself, when we haven't learned how to navigate our own emotions. And so we tell a child, don't feel that way. No, you didn't feel that. That's a form of gaslighting when
Hmm.
when a little kid, tells us how they feel and we say, well, you shouldn't feel that way. Or no, you didn't feel that way. Oh, come
Right,
on.
right,
It is
right.
a form of,
Well,
it
it
falls under that category. Not that we
absolutely.
suddenly intend it that way, of course,
Well,
right?
it falls under also domestic violence. It can really fall into that category of domestic
Oh,
violence.
gaslighting is
Mhm.
definitely a part of domestic violence.
Do you have, and you said you have a
Absolutely.
list? Tell me some of the things on the list that you have for some of
Um,
the
the
statements of.
more susceptible you are, which is why it can really affect younger people, the more, the worse it is. And there's 15 I found
Wow.
to figure out whether someone is gaslighting you. And certainly, if there's something off about your, but that really is a personality disorder one, when there's something off about someone, but you can't quite tell what it is. When you're frequently second guessing yourself, or the other person is causing you to second guess yourself, when you're feeling confused and disoriented because you start to not really be able to trust your own reality.
Yeah.
When you feel threatened and on edge around someone, but you don't really know why.
Oh, wow.
When you never feel good enough, you never live up to someone's expectations, and their expectation usually is unreasonable, to keep you kind of in that not steady foundation. It really kind of, what it does is it shakes your foundation.
Well, and it's crazy making. It's crazy making.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had a client that had a husband that was gaslighting her, and how I knew it is I never met the husband, but she'd come back and tell me these stories. He would tell me, that I had been having too much to drink, and he was constantly on me with the drinking, and I would say, but I haven't had anything, and literally he would have turned out he was filling the bottle with. With alcohol, and kind of pouring it out and making her think that she had been drinking. And it was just crazy. It went on and on and on over this. And I said, I think you're being gaslighted, because I know her and she's not a drinker. It was just kind of a crazy making thing.
Yeah.
I said, I think you're being gaslighted. And this guy really had wanted a divorce. He was really trying to make a case for that.
It's so interesting. The more sociopathic the person is, the more strategic and
totally. That's it.
Strategic.
Oh, this guy was strategic.
Sometimes we might do that without realizing it, which isn't, and I'm talking about just like if you were to say something, I'm like, really? I don't remember it that way. That kind of thing, right? But when we're talking with the sociopath and they want you off your game, on a shaky foundation, they will do those kind of things, which are very strategic, like, pour out some alcohol and say you drank that when you didn't have a drink the night before. But then you start, but wait a minute, it was full and now it's not. Maybe I did have a drink. Maybe I don't remember.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah,
that's exactly it. Or pills. With pills, they'll take pills out, and you've taken the pills, and then when really they'll come in to manipulate the kids, so the kids won't have anything to do with them, and with the parent, one parent or another. It's unbelievable, this gaslighting.
It can really go. It's on a huge continuum.
Huge.
And it can go extreme. Yeah. They cause you to isolate. You feel isolated. You feel hopeless. You feel misunderstood. You feel like you overreact. The worst thing is for someone to say you're overreacting. There's no such thing. Yeah. Whatever you're feeling is your feeling. You may feel something very strongly, but then that's where the somatic piece comes in. You're curious, why did I react so strongly to this?
Right.
But when you call someone overreacting, you're minimizing their reaction to it, and making them feel wrong for reacting a certain way.
And if they don't have their own deep groundedness, the person, then it might be easier for them to get manipulated. And I'll tell you where we see this in spiritual gaslighting. Have you ever heard the term even? Spiritual gaslighting is a real thing.
I haven't, but
it's terrible. I actually had a client that was, she was kind of a newbie into spiritual whatever, and we had suggested that she go to yoga. Yoga's a good place to start with things. So she goes into yoga, and she's a beautiful young gal, and she goes in, and the teacher was like, oh no, he was getting, like, I don't know, oddly too close to her and fondling her, and then saying to her, she said, hey, wait a minute. I don't think that's right. No, stop. And he said to her, you're just new on this path. You don't know, but this is, you have a problem with men, and it's because I am the divine masculine. What the fuck? Yeah. I said to her, call the police. Get out of there now.
Good for you. Good for you.
I was so pissed off. I thought, boy, he has no idea who he's just screwed with.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And that's the difference. That's the difference between someone like you that works spiritually, who's very grounded in reality, and I guess this earth reality, which is what we're living in, right?
Yeah. Right.
And those are the kind of spiritual people that I say they're floating, and I just don't trust.
Oh, and this guy was a real sociopath. He was going to attack her, physically.
Yeah. it's unfortunate that there are many people who get into
Mhm.
spirituality that are
Mhm.
sociopaths because they can control people, because
Well, and
we're all
that's just
looking for
it.
something.
That's just it. And so, what I really want to say about this is get your first, second, and third chakra. First chakra is, getting grounded, your root chakra. Please get grounded. Your second chakra is where you're sensing everything, you're feeling everything. Start
Mhm.
paying attention to what you're feeling. The
Yeah,
third chakra is your power center. So, you want to
yeah,
get really grounded in those first three
yeah.
chakras, in all the
Solar
chakras.
plexus.
But the
Yeah,
solar plexus, that's your power. And so when people start to, if there's anybody out there that is doing gaslighting, not going to work.
yeah, yeah. Know that if you start to question your own reality, and you start
Mhm.
to be afraid of speaking up because you might say the wrong thing,
Yeah.
or you know, if you start to question your own reality, know that you might be with someone who is causing you
Hmm.
to that you might be getting gaslit.
Yeah.
Gas
If you start to question,
is
yeah.
it gaslit? That you're
Gaslight. Yeah.
being
You're
gaslighted.
gaslighted. Yeah. So,
Yeah, it's such an important thing to be aware of. So let's see. Rebecca says, I am an empath and my mom is narcissistic. Any suggestions on how to deal with her gaslighting? It's
hmm.
hard when it's a parent, but boundaries, 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 boundaries.
Yeah. And know
That's,
your truth, Rebecca. Know your truth. Know yourself.
yeah,
Know your
yeah,
truth. Know what you know. And that's the other thing. If you have any spiritual person or any person that's telling you something, especially a spiritual person that's telling you something that just doesn't feel right, trust your gut. That's what I'm saying because you know better than anybody.
that is a big one. Trusting your
Just,
gut. I
ah,
trusted, as left brain as I am, I trusted. And when it comes to people who tell me that they're yoga and they're spiritual, even some somatic people that are just body workers and stuff,
mhm,
if they haven't done their own work, I can tell immediately because they're floating up
immediately.
here. They're not
Immediately.
grounded,
Right. Or they're
and
saying stupid things. Like, pay attention.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But with narcissists, first of all, if they're just a narcissist, and I'm
Oh,
saying that word just,
good.
because they're not borderline,
Right.
the motivation will always be what's in it for them.
Mhm.
And so just know that the difficulty is when it's a parent is we hope and pray that we can
That-
have that
Yeah.
connection. And
Yeah.
part of it is doing the work and doing the grieving work and realizing that you will never, if a parent is a true narcissist, you will never be able to have
To
that
attend. No.
genuine connection with them.
And
So
once you
part of
get,
it is grieving that piece.
absolutely, it's grieving that piece. And once you get that piece, but it's hard with a mother. It's easier almost with a father,
Yeah.
but it's hard with a mother because the mother is where the natural state is to be with the mother. That's a natural state,
Yeah.
except when you have a narcissistic mother or
Or a
borderline mothers,
borderline
or
mother.
oh my god, or a sociopathic. Well, you're
Forget it.
damned.
Yeah.
You forget about
Yeah.
it.
But I think that doing that, grieving that
Hmm.
mom that you will never have, and also don't get when they become the parent that you need them to be, because narcissists, every personality disorder has that part where they actually become the person, even when we fall in love with one.
Hmm.
you know at many times they show us that piece that we fell in love with. Well, when a parent acts like a parent, or
Yeah.
mother acts like that mothering, to
Yeah.
not get fooled by it,
Hmm.
to enjoy it, because it's there. It's also a real part of who they are, but also know that the narcissistic piece is going to show up.
Hmm. Yeah, it's very true. It doesn't go away. There's no
No,
medicine for it. They can
no,
only be good for so long.
with so many of my clients, they think, oh, now I can, now, no, there's mom, now I can trust her and stuff. And
Yeah.
they get hit every single time. So that's an important
Hmm.
thing, to enjoy that moment, but always keep it in perspective.
Yeah, and
That
especially as an
narcissistic,
empath, it's really hard. It's
yeah.
tough in general, but as an empath, I mean, you so want to connect. Little empaths out there so want to connect,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's really not safe.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
not safe.
safe.
That's just it. You know, when you think about it, I always think about it in a physical term, because, of course, my left brain needs
Mhm.
to, tangible. Would you walk in to a room full of people with tuberculosis?
No,
You just wouldn't. You'd protect yourself physically.
that's
When
a
we're
good
sick, we go to
one.
the doctor. Yeah.
Yeah.
The same should be for our emotions. Why would we expose ourselves or leave ourselves vulnerably open with someone who we know is going to hurt us, like someone with narcissism or personality disorder?
Boy,
It's
boy,
no different
that even went
than
in my right brain. That was a good one, Shirley.
it's right. It's no different than taking care of ourselves physically. No different.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm going to
Yeah.
remember that one.
Yeah.
All right, ladies, we have some calls pending if you're ready to
All
take.
right, we are
Let's
ready.
do it.
We're
Yes,
ready.
yes.
So let's go ahead and start here. We have our first caller, and I believe it's Nancy from 229. Nancy, are you on the line with us?
Hello, how are you?
We're
Hi,
good.
Hi,
Nancy.
Nancy.
How are you doing, Nancy?
I love this topic. It's a great topic. Very briefly, when I was very young, I got married at 19, and the love of my life, I came
Oh,
from a real loving family, just had never seen any men in my family raise a hand. I walked into a marriage thinking I was marrying a prince, and he was the devil.
Oh,
Well, 4 years
oh,
later, I had bought
oh,
a gun and kept it up under my side of the mattress. I finally got away in the middle of the night with our daughter and went into hiding. And it took me years to forgive myself because he had me so convinced all of that was my fault.
oh my God,
boy.
Nancy. God, I have chills everywhere, and my heart goes out to you. And God
Yeah.
bless you for being able to do that. I was
Yeah.
also in a marriage like that, so I know exactly what you're describing right now. And I just want to say how brave you were to leave. And I
Yeah.
left with my daughter as well. And the fact that you left with your daughter, and I totally get that. And it's surely it's the most unbelievable thing
Oh,
that you think you're marrying this person, and then the devil shows up. It's
yeah.
shocking, and it
Much as
happens
that
like
is to
that.
hide. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Mm.
God, Nancy, how are you doing now with everything?
Oh, listen, it took me years, but
Yeah.
I remarried to a God. He is the
Oh,
most wonderful, loving, trusting man, and
Oh,
raised
wow.
my daughter. She was his. We have another daughter, and life is good. I'm very spiritual. Love your shows. Watch them every week,
Oh.
oh,
and
thank you.
just
Nancy, you are just a love. What's your birth date?
get it, and just how much you are helping people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Well,
thank
Nancy,
you,
before you
Nancy.
hang up, Nancy, what's your birth date?
Oh my goodness, January 2nd,
Oh,
1992.
okay. So you're a powerhouse. You are a powerhouse, Nancy. I have to say that because as soon as you said when you started telling your story, I said, "Oh, she's got to be in order." You're a powerhouse. So you were born the 2nd of January, which is one of the most powerful days for births. Period. First, second,
Wow.
third, fourth,
Now,
fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. The first 12 days of that month are power. And it means old soul. And it means that you would have taken that incarnation and this incarnation to really, I want to say, be powerful, tie up loose ends. And you are at a place now in your life where like life is going to be good. Life is good. You earned it though. You earned it. And it was all of that bad stuff that you went through early on as part of that life lesson of being able to choose to be able to choose clearly after that.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
One thing that I did do, and I think Dr. Shirley will appreciate this. My ex-husband passed away several years ago, and we never got a chance to speak when he was alive. But I've made peace with that. I had to let go and
Mm,
forgive him and forgive myself, and I
Yeah.
did that.
yeah.
That makes me really
That,
happy that you were able to do that
yeah.
actually.
That is so important because
Mm.
forgiving
Yeah.
ourselves for making those choices is such an important thing to not
Mhm.
live with that. And
Oh,
and
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. And
Wow.
forgiving them too. Forgiving them doesn't mean that you put aside what they did or that you forget what they did necessarily, but it's just letting go of holding on to that, to that doesn't serve you anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind
Wow.
of like that old saying, you can forgive, but you never forget.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you forgive for yourself because you don't want to carry that weight anymore,
Yeah.
Right.
So who cares about them? They're on their
Well,
own journey.
Yeah.
well, and not only that, but on the other side, once when they're there and they do a soul to go, we talk about what they have done in this lifetime, they will have felt everything that they put you through, they would have felt.
Yeah,
So it's
from
Oh, I'm
your
sure.
perspective, right?
yeah,
It's
from my
your perspective.
perspective, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
and listen, I fully believe that. I truly do. And
Yeah.
I wish him nothing but the best. I
Yeah.
know that's going to be difficult, but
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of, I'll never forget when Danny and Brinkley, was that his name? We
Yep.
had him on our show years and years and years ago. I
yeah,
think you might be able to find it on
it's on
YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah.
He's so funny. He reminds me of, because he has a Southern accent, and
Mhm.
he said I think had like, I don't know, 3 or 4 near-death experience, and he goes,
Mhm.
and I felt everything that I did to everybody from their
Yeah.
perspective. And I
Well,
mean, it
his
was shocking to
story,
hear him
it was
say
so
that.
but his story was so fascinating because he had killed a lot of people in Vietnam during the Vietnam War. And so
Oh,
it turned out he had to go back and feel like every family member that remained, every
Wow.
grandchild that was born without.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was unbelievable. Which, in fact, John, you should put that link in
I
so they could
will.
listen
Yeah,
to it
I'm
Yeah.
again.
If you
working
Such
get
on
a
a
it.
good.
chance, listen to it. And
Mhm.
he's
Read
just,
his book. You'll
yeah.
love him, Nancy. You will love him.
I loved him because he's just
funny.
so left brain and he
And
tells it like it is. And it was
say
just,
that because I was going through some of your archives and I saw where you interviewed him, and then I
yeah,
went on to YouTube and looked at a lot of his talks.
Yeah, he's
yeah,
good.
yeah, he's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Nancy, thank you so much for calling. It
Thank you,
really means a lot to
Nancy.
us. Thank you.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you
really,
so much. Have a great evening.
You too.
thank you.
Yeah, and Nancy, look
Bye.
up the Queen of Spades because I believe that's the card that you
Yeah, she's a
represented.
queen of
Queen of
spades.
Spades, which is
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
card of
yeah.
self mastery. So check
Yeah.
that out, okay, online since you're doing your
Oh,
Yeah.
research. All right,
Powerhouse.
thanks for calling in. All right.
Celebrate your courage and your strength. That takes so much courage and strength.
It sure does, Shirley.
Yeah.
It sure does. Wow, that was a great call.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I've got chills too.
Right? Wow. I know. I mean, that's part of the gaslighting, where you actually
Completely.
have to get a hold of yourself and realize what's happening and get out of Dodge. Get out of
Completely.
Dodge safely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So I'm
God.
glad she went back and reviewed some of the shows because we've been getting a lot of comments about different topics that people would like for us to do. And many of
Yeah.
them we've done in past episodes, and those are archived on YouTube, and I've been posting those in the group, so you want to check those out. But we are going to revisit a lot of these topics because we do have a
Yeah.
newer audience. So let's,
So
go ahead,
I
Shirley.
have a question for
Sure.
you, Kelly, because the
Okay.
thought came to my mind a moment ago. What is it about, from a spiritual standpoint, the gaslighter? Is it a connection, a karmic connection between that person, the gaslighter, and the person who's
Yeah,
being gaslit? Is it,
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a karmic connection there. There's a connection there. It's somebody that is, probably soulless or has a very little connection to their soul. They kind of are free falling. It falls under sociopath.
right?
So with sociopaths, they're really not connected into the body. The soul is out here, so you can pray for the soul, but it's not really attached into the body. And so therefore they don't have any empathy. They don't have any empathy. So they're
Yeah.
not attached. And so they learn how to manipulate early on. And that's what they do. And gaslighting is, a high form of manipulation.
Wow.
And that's what they do. And
With
then what happens spiritually is then you, as the person that's being gaslit, has to really come to a come to Jesus meeting with themselves. Oh my God, how do I get out of this? How do I wake up and get out of this? And it's
it's
really,
so,
it teaches you. You have to really learn. You can say, well, thank you, teacher. I've learned to take care of myself, my children. I'm out of here.
you know what? That's exactly the thought that just came to my mind, is that sometimes they can teach the person to,
Mhm.
the strength and the courage that they do have, like
Yeah.
Nancy.
And that would be so they would be the teacher. They would be
Yeah,
a teacher.
yeah,
I mean, it's a
yeah.
weird way to look at it, but they really would be a teacher.
I think it's an important way to look at it, in the
Mhm.
sense of healing your own self.
Mhm.
And we come to this dimension to learn. And so you're going to have all kinds of, I didn't say easy experiences. In fact, I've never said that. In fact, if anything, there can be rough experiences because on the other side, there is no such thing as death. We leave our body and we go back home. We're here for a small amount of time to do schoolwork, and our schoolwork can sometimes be intense. And so it's all about knowing thyself, taking a risk, learning about yourself, Learn about yourself. What is good for me? Who do I trust? Who do I not trust? And
Yeah.
the targets are always moving. I mean, don't you, like you think, oh, I'm settled here. Next thing you know, nope, you're really not. You're over here now. That's
Yeah.
just the way this dimension was set up. I mean, who set this place up? I'm not sure.
I know.
Mhm.
It's
It's
definitely
a some
challenges.
place.
But I mean, even going back to you, Kel, when we did the somatic work and you thought that you could never face that person and
Yeah.
you ran into him and your body didn't shake the way it used to. And that
Let's talk about that. Yeah, no, I had a
it's
situation like Nancy, and years
yeah,
went by. I think 20 years went by, or 18 years, or some, a long time. 50, I don't know. Years later, I was in Beverly Hills actually, going to my office, and I'll be damned, I ran into him, but he didn't notice me, and it was the weirdest thing ever. And we just crossed paths like this. Well, I got to the office, I started shaking and
I know you were
shaking, and
shaken to the core. I'll
oh,
never
it
forget
freaked
that.
me out. It
Yeah.
was scary. It was really scary. And you did, I think, 2 sessions with me on somatic experience. Tell them what you did, because it was really extraordinary.
Part of it is the body gets kind of caught in that fight or flight because you're not able to fight back because it
Hmm.
can become more dangerous,
Hmm.
even as an adult, particularly with kids. And so that energy of that fight or flight gets stuck there. And so then whenever you see that target, the association is I can't protect myself. And so that's
Mm.
where that comes in. And so it's
Wow.
about being able to tune into whatever the body's doing in that moment and complete that fight or flight. So I think I asked you, if you could have done something, what would you have wanted to do? And it
Kill
could
him.
be anything. Well, exactly. And I think that that's what you did. And you imagined that. And
I
it's a
did.
metaphor for the anger. It has nothing to do with what you would be capable to do, because the
Right.
reality is that if something is coming at us or coming at a loved one, we all have the capacity to kill. We
Right.
do.
Right.
That's the fight or flight instinct.
Hmm.
So when you're able to imagine that in your mind, then that fight or flight energy gets to complete. And so
Hmm.
then the next time you saw him, because I will
Which
never
was
forget this,
bizarre.
yeah,
I saw him a
tell him
second
what
time.
happened. Yeah,
I just kept walking. I didn't even notice my heart start to race. I didn't even notice that. I
because it
just kept,
didn't.
it didn't,
No,
it was like I took a magic pill. I couldn't believe it. Shirley, the pill was called Shirley. I
no, the
saw
pill
him.
was called somatic experiencing,
It's
not me.
unbelievable. I
Yeah,
kept
yeah,
walking. I saw him. I just kept walking. Oddly, he didn't recognize me. It's the strangest damn thing ever. And I just kept walking, got to the office, and I think I told you 2 hours later.
yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't
It
even
was.
a pressing thought on my head. It was like, okay,
Once we
yeah,
feel that we can protect ourselves from
yeah.
someone that we weren't able to protect ourselves from, it could be a one-time robbery, a theft, or whatever, the association will completely shift. And
Mm,
it doesn't mean that you want to go hang out with him, but it
no,
means that that terror didn't show up the next time you saw him. And that's the beauty. That's the healing, the healing
no,
potential of somatic experiencing. I want to say the
right.
magic, but it's not magic at all. And I, want to give certainly credit where credit is due. It's that. It's
Wow. Well, it was
yeah,
really powerful.
yeah.
Gosh. Well, John, do you have anybody
Yeah,
else
we
want to
do have
call
a
in?
couple more calls, and I just want to
Okay.
get to a quote really quick because we were talking about empaths and narcissists and how
Hmm.
empaths are drawn to narcissists because, well, I read a quote that says, when we meet and fall into the gravitational pull of a narcissist, we are entering a significant life lesson that involves learning how to create boundaries, as Shirley mentioned and Kelly
Yeah.
mentioned, self-respect and
Yeah.
resilience. Through trial and
That would be
error,
it.
yeah, a lot of our pain and our connection with narcissists teaches us that we have necessary lessons that are needed to become mature empaths.
Well, then maybe
So
that's why,
true.
John, so many that narcissists are drawn to empaths.
Hmm.
It's part of the life cycle lesson then.
And it's interesting because they say the difference is that narcissists are essentially weak and succumb to selfishness and hate, while empaths rise above their torturous past and continue to be there for humanity.
Oh my God. I love that.
Wow. That's so
John,
empowering because it's
put
true.
that up. Yeah,
Because
that's such a good
Yeah,
one.
a
I'll put that up.
narcissist or sociopath will continue being who they are all
Yeah.
along. They,
Mhm.
Hmm.
but the people that come, that encounter them and learn that lesson and become stronger and empowered, and that, wow, you walk away not being the same person, whereas
Yeah.
they continue to be the same person.
Yeah. And that's from a site called Awakened Empath, Luna and Soul. So let me get to the calls. We got 417 on the line. 417. I believe this is Maureen. Is that correct? Maureen?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Maureen. Welcome to the show. Can we have where you're calling from, please?
Missouri.
Missouri. Great.
Hi, Maureen from
Hi,
Missouri.
Maureen. How can we help you today? Have you had a situation like this?
Well, what was that?
Have you had a situation that we've been talking about?
Yes, actually, we have, my uncle is a huge narcissist, and he really kind of, on one hand, destroyed our family, but in the same token, really gave us a gift in that. So
Wow.
because of him, our family kind of divided and broke up. And in the process, it was horrendous and terrible. But now that time has passed, really it was a gift.
Mm.
And
Did the family ever heal? I'm curious, Maureen. Did the family ever heal?
For that opportunity. However, my concern is through some of the pain, like on a cellular level, when we are subjected to individuals like that, is there a way that we can continue to heal that way as well?
Shirley, I'm going to have you take this one.
And that's interesting too, because we had Carrie on that does the generational healing.
Yes, we did.
When you say on a cellular level, can you say a little bit more about what you mean?
Well, I feel like, that our body and our cells and, we have that memory of traumatic experiences. So I just want to see, this individual has affected a couple of generations in our family. So one, I want to stop that pattern going forward. And also how can we, heal on that, on the cellular or the, on the physical body as well.
This is, I think, first of all, such a great question. And I so appreciate everything you just said, everything, because a narcissist like that or a sociopath like that, or psychopath, whatever you happen to be, probably right in that category, can destroy families. And I've seen it personally, and it's an awful, awful thing to have to live through. But on a cellular level, because this is exactly what happens, it does get into the system. It really gets into the system. I'm thinking, John, we should actually post Carrie again. Carrie's family constellation therapy. Actually, Maureen works with this. Because she goes through the generations of the traumas, and your uncle would have been one, if you ever did this work with her, that would have come up to releasing.
Yeah. So I couldn't agree with you more, Kel. I would suggest that you reach out and have a session with Carrie. She does it on the, she does it on Skype. You don't have to. She has clients all over the world. But from a cellular level, it would be important then to be in tune with your body, because your cells, as you said, Maureen, will react to that energy. So then you'll be able to tell whether you're in front of someone who's a narcissist, or you'll notice that your cells will protect themselves when you're around your uncle or anyone like him. And it's boundaries, to set boundaries and don't let them bully you. Narcissists can be bullies. And so it's learning how not to let them bully you.
Maureen, I had a situation where I was in a situation not too dissimilar than what you're describing. And I did end up having 2 sessions with Carrie. And it was the most valuable work I personally have ever done in my whole life, because it lifted the family constellation therapy. It actually lifted the trauma that was caused by somebody in my family, and it was so traumatic. Carrie's work was invaluable for me to be able to release so much that I could actually go on with my life and have a good life.
And set the boundaries that you needed to set.
And set the boundaries.
It shifts the energy, not only with you, but the whole family dynamic. It's incredible work.
The whole family. So when you do it for you, you're actually doing it for the family. It's fascinating.
Yeah,
we've done 2 shows on it so far, so you can also go back in the archives and check those out.
Because
Very
they believe that it goes back to the Zulu tribe, and the Zulu tribe believes it goes 13 generations forward and 13 generations back. And really what I want to say is this: there are narcissists in every family. There are sociopaths in every family. And there's usually one person that comes into the family drama to set everybody off on their path. And often they destroy families. And this is why, the family work is so important. Family constellation work is so important. Therapy for the individual is so important. So it's not you. It is these personality disorders are out there. They are our greatest teachers, as we have mentioned, but they cause the most pain and the most suffering.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But good call. I
Thank
appreciate
you
what
so
you just
much. I
said.
appreciate it.
Thanks, Maureen. Appreciate your call.
Thank you, Maureen.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we have
There's
one
so many
caller.
families like that, that have this.
Just let me know
They-
when you're ready.
We're ready, John. Sorry.
Okay. No, it's fine. If you want to go ahead and
And
unpack
banter.
that,
Yeah.
no,
Well, they can really create havoc, and like Maureen was saying, separate the family. So it's important to set very, very clear boundaries. I mean, that's the best
But
way
it's
to
what
be.
makes it so tough, Shirley, is that as many boundaries, as you can set. If it's an empath, you're like feeling the pain of, now I can't be with this one, now I can't be with that one, and what's going to happen? It's a mess. This is the kind of chaos that's out there. But yeah, setting
Well,
boundaries is
that's
essential.
when it's something that your mother always taught me. That's when, and if you're an empath, for some reason I can do it easily, even though I feel the pain. That's when you have to invite your left brain in. And that's when
Yes.
you have to come from a left brain place and say, okay, I'm not going to be able to see these people or that, or maybe there's kids involved, but you have to set that boundary. And so you
Well,
need to go right into your left brain in order to be able to do that.
it's what you said earlier. You said, think of it as tuberculosis
Yeah.
or whatever it happens to be. Yeah. I
You
mean,
would never
yeah.
expose yourself to a physical disease. You just wouldn't. It would be ludicrous.
hmm So you can't expose yourself to the emotional blackmail or abuse.
Yeah. Abuse.
Ugh.
Yeah.
we have a large comment coming here from Janelle.
Hi, Janelle.
Hi, Janelle. Oh
Janelle's a great
my gosh.
medium.
Yes, she is.
So she says, I've survived long-term gaslighting from 2 people in my life, one
Ah.
ex-husband and one mother. Intuitively, I rose above it, but it certainly takes courage in remembering who you are. Then I learned there was a term for it. It was real, and I don't engage with the ploy anymore. Great conversations, ladies.
Oh,
Thank
thanks,
you,
Janelle. I love
Janelle.
Janelle. Janelle and I spent lots of time in the ocean in Greece together. Oh my God, I had the best time. Great medium, fabulous medium, by the way. Wow. Well, yeah,
In Australia, right?
yeah, in Australia, I didn't realize that she had gone through that. It's rough. And again, empaths seem to be the ones that seem to get more of it than the average person, Shirley.
Yeah.
Shar says, set the boundary and watch the
Yes.
fireworks.
Oh, totally, totally.
Okay, I wish I had said that, Shar. That's
Oh,
hilarious. And is
that
that
is
the
true.
truth?
It
Oh,
is. They cannot handle boundaries. Their head almost explodes, but you have to
right.
set it and be as not soft-spoken, but as monotone as possible. And you said the same thing over and over and watch them lose it and not you.
That's a good title for a book. I like that. Set the boundaries and watch the fireworks fly. And a truer
Really
statement
had
has
me
never
laughing.
been said. That's a great one,
So
Shar.
true. Yeah.
So
Love
true.
it. All right, so let's get to our next caller, 509. I don't have a name for you.
But I
Where are you
apologize.
calling from?
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, I'm calling. Hello, can you hear me?
I
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh my God,
Yes.
let's go.
Yeah, just listen through your telephone
This
and
is
not
Cece Otto.
what's that?
Who's it?
My name is Cece Otto.
Cece, hi. Oh yeah, we see your comments a lot. Great. Great to have you on the
Hi,
phone with us.
Stacy.
Hi, Cece. Thanks for
Thank
calling.
you. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Have you had a situation like this,
My
Cece?
husband and I were, listening to this, and we were kind of understand because we do have neighbors who does this, because we have 2 neighbors. One neighbor, she have a little bit of problem with her, and then the other neighbor will put thought in her. We have, I call it the neighbor war here right now.
Ooh.
So the neighbor will tell the other neighbors that we put listening device in her house. That
Oh,
every
my.
time that we walk out there, we were listening to her conversation inside the house. We have to go through court and fight over this thing was so ridiculous.
Oh
Oh
my
my God.
God.
Wow. That's serious.
No.
That's a borderline splitting people up.
Right on, Shirley.
Yeah,
Exactly right. Wow.
it was like crazy, but we won in court. So
Good.
thank God that judge see that, there is some mental issue with the other lady, but the other
Yes.
lady's kind of keep putting thought in her head and try to make war between
Wow.
our family and the other
Mhm.
mental issue family. Oh my God, it was
Mm.
crazy.
God. Shirley, you're absolutely right. That's a splitter. That's what borderlines do. They split people.
Completely.
Is
I
Yeah,
mean,
they
that's a high form of it too.
Is
Yeah.
it part of paranoia as well? Or
No, they just,
Yeah.
they just split people. They like
Schizophrenia
to,
or whatever that's called.
schizophrenia, you said.
Oh, she was schizophrenic. Right?
Yes.
Possibly.
Oh.
Wow. I mean, if she was a paranoid schizophrenic, that would be what they could do. Yeah.
yeah.
I thought she
Yeah.
could have borderline personality to boot. I mean,
Uh,
boy, that's awful.
talk about-
Are you selling your house? I hope.
I am trying, so I can, I try to, Kelly, if you remember me, I try to book a reading with you.
Oh,
I'm trying
well,
to,
don't worry. The house will sell.
sure you
The house will
remember me.
sell. Yes, now I
yay.
remember you
I
got sent
hope
me an
so.
email. Yes,
try to
no, your
move.
house will sell. Your house will sell. Just keep
And you said
working on it.
there was a ritual or something that she could do with the saint. Isn't that right?
Oh, yes. Now I remember
Yes,
really
I
well.
actually
Yes.
did it today.
Oh, you did?
Perfect.
Oh, awesome.
And then really, talk to Saint Joseph every day. Anybody who's trying to sell a house, my house sold in 24 hours. You put Saint Joseph, you go online, you buy a Saint Joseph.
You buy it on Amazon. I bought them too.
Yeah, you did it too, and it worked, right?
Yeah.
And then you stick it upside down. You
Oh,
stick
I
it
hope
upside down,
so.
and you put them in the backyard facing the house. I think.
The realtor called today.
Wow.
There were interesting
Oh,
buyers.
good.
So,
Good.
finger crossed, Kelly.
Fingers crossed. It'll sell. It'll sell, Cece, and we'll talk soon. But it will definitely sell. I mean, it's time to get out of that energy for damn sure.
Oh yeah.
God, Shirley, that's a tough one, isn't it? I mean, there are just some nuts out there.
What was that, Stacey?
I'm sorry?
Oh, we didn't hear the last comment you made. It cut off.
No, okay. I would just said that I just go court after court and after court. That's all.
Oh,
Yeah,
They're highly litigious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
God.
But we're glad that you won and that you're trying to get out of there.
Yeah, the house will sell.
Yeah.
Yeah, just keep talking to Saint Joseph.
Thank
Saint
you.
Joseph.
And
All
thanks
right,
for
thanks for
calling. Good to
calling.
hear your voice. Glad that you connected with us.
Thank you.
You take
Yeah.
care.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Thank you for
All right,
calling.
Wow.
They are out there, right? They're just out there.
They wreak havoc. They really
Gosh.
do. I mean, it's the worst to have a neighbor. I mean, it's the worst to have them anywhere near you. But I'm working with someone whose neighbor is like that. And the more you ignore it and diffuse it as much as possible and engage as least as possible, eventually they get bored and they'll find
Another victim.
target.
Ugh.
Yeah, they will. They will. So you just have to, unfortunately though, when it gets to the point with Stacey, where she's forced to actually go to court because they can't, you can't ignore it. And that's just the worst.
God. Wow. Well, John, is there one more?
We don't have any other callers at the moment because we're almost out of time, so I shut the line down. But I do want to touch on something really quick. Kelly, we have on our Instagram, I believe there was someone who was
Oh, yes. Thanks for reminding me.
about sexual assault and domestic violence.
Do you have the name of her?
Yeah, Studios Bead Bracelet, and we wanted to give them a shout out for the work that they're doing.
Because every bracelet that you buy from them, they donate 30%, I think, to domestic violence.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So they reached out to us, Shirley, and I thought, God, what a great thing. I mean, domestic violence, nothing gets my blood boiling more than that. You know, so I really, great job, guys. I mean, if so, you know, maybe post their link
Can
or
we,
something.
can we put that link
I
up?
like to help them because that
Yeah,
was.
I will put that in the comments for sure. And
Okay.
they're on our Instagram, so they've commented on our Instagram about this particular show. So we told them we would give them a shout out. So.
Oh,
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what's their name again?
It's Studios Bead, BEAD Bracelet. Studios
Okay, so
Bead Bracelet.
Studios Bead Bracelet.
Yes.
We'll
Right.
put it on our Instagram. We'll put it on Facebook and on Twitter.
Yes, exactly. And then, Kel, you had a testimonial from when you were giving a reading over the weekend, I believe.
Oh,
Tell us
you mean
about that.
about the spirit guide?
Yeah, it goes in
Oh my God.
with what
This
we
was-
talked
You
about.
have,
So-
you have to tell that story because
This was unbelievable. I did a reading for somebody over the weekend who wanted to know about her spirit guides.
Which is
Spirit
last
guides.
week's subject.
And we had to do a show last week on it. So, but what's so interesting is spirit guides, sometimes they give me their name, sometimes they don't give me their name. I mean, it's a real private, personal thing, you know. So I said to her, all right. She said, well, do I have a spirit guide? I said, of course, everybody has one. I said, and you have a female. And she said, well, what's her name? And I said, let me see. Sometimes they give them to me, sometimes they don't. And this name came rushing out, like almost knocked me over. And I said, I heard the name. And I said, that's such a ridiculous name that I'm embarrassed to say it. I'm not going to say it. And I said to her, look, this is an odd name. I don't know what to tell you, but it's a very odd name. And I remember James has always said to me, Kelly, if you hear it, you have to say it. So
I
I
remember
said,
him saying that too.
over and over to me. So I said, all right, I'm going to say the name. She's going to think I'm an idiot. This is what I'm thinking. You know, she's going to think I'm just from Mars or something. I said, she says her name is Petunia. And she goes, dead silence. All of a sudden, she bursts into tears.
Wow.
And she said, she was 67. And she said, when I was between 3 and 6,
Mm.
I had an imaginary friend, and her name was Petunia. And
Oh.
I would tell everybody, and they would say, no, that person's not there.
Mm.
And it was her spirit guide the
Oh
whole
my God. See,
Wow.
your work is so healing, Kel. I mean, that
time.
alone is
I was
just
something,
touches
right?
me like nothing else.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, just the name even. I'm like, I can't
What?
say that. I sound like a crazy person. You know,
I mean,
I mean, I'm
Petunia,
like,
yeah, is it? But how healing
it was
for
really
her
healing
to
for her.
know that that little kid,
Absolutely.
that little girl, and that's the intuition. That's what we were just talking about, is knowing yourself enough to know and to
Exactly.
just be sure
And
of
to trust
who
yourself.
you are. Trust
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
goosebumps. I know
Oh,
that
yeah.
was
Oh,
unbelievable. I'll never.
unbelievable.
When I think of spirit guides now, that's what I'm going to go to. I'm like, unbelievable.
Oh
That
my
was great.
God.
Oh well, thank you,
Oh,
Cece.
Cece. We
So
love you
sweet.
too. Thank you so much for listening. And our time has come. We will be back next week.
And I think, John, do we know yet what we're doing?
Well, we're going to try to get a numerologist booked very soon.
Yes,
So let's
yes,
hope
yes, yes.
for that. And because
So
we do
fun.
some topics about
Mhm.
people wanting us to focus on numerology, and we always talk on it a little bit, but we've never really gone in depth. So I think it'll be great to cover that with a
I have to tell you on that note, I mean, ever since, of course, you, Kelly, but Carrie also, I had a few sessions with Carrie, the family constellation that we were just talking about. And she said, you'll start noticing numbers. And I've taken a phone shot every single time. I now always notice 111, 222. I just noticed 555. And it's like my eyes are just drawn to the time, either looking on the phone or looking up at the computer if I'm doing something, and I'll just look
Waking
up
up.
222 333 444 555. When I'm working with clients, all of a sudden my eyes will just dash over to the phone and to the clock. I have a digital clock, and it's that. So people pay attention, because you will also start to notice those numbers. Sid started to notice them. She goes, what does that mean? And I said, it means you're woke.
Yeah, you're woke.
Uh-huh.
You're woke, girl. Means everybody's starting. Well, you're starting to wake up. I mean, you know, we drink the Kool-Aid until such a time when we stop drinking and we wake up.
Stop drinking. Yeah.
And we want to thank everybody too for participating in the group. We have a very high engagement rate on the group, and we love that you are participating.
Thank you.
And
We do
I
love
posted
it.
a video recently about calendars, clocks, and playing cards, and the connection to all three of those things. So that's a very interesting when we talk about signs and synchronicities. So check that video out if you haven't already, because it's very fascinating.
It is a good one. And John, do me a favor, pick one card for the group for all of us for
Oh, yeah,
tonight
yeah,
Okay, you got it. All
before we
right,
go.
we can do that. Let me pick one really quick. And I'm picking from the Oracle, which is the chakra healing deck. So that's what we've been using the last couple of weeks. So I'll pull that and pull the card for everybody. And 1 second, bring up on the camera. So let's see. I won't even look at it. So
What does it say?
let's see what it says. Divine alignment. Do you guys see this?
I
Like
do.
Like
a shooting star that has glided onto the depths of the earth expanse, so too are you gracefully guiding along and grounding into the terrain with a message only you can bring. Do you remember your sacred offering? Have you tapped into the breadth and depth of your mystery? Shine and allow yourself to be seen and be open widely to the wisdom of this journey. It's the Earth Star chakra. Red clover is the herb, and the crystal is tektite. Never even heard of
I
that.
never heard that, but I love that, we were talking about earlier about being grounded. Get as
Yeah.
grounded as you can. When you're really grounded, nothing's going to push you away.
And
Get
that's
really
free.
grounded.
So there we go.
Yeah. That's great, John. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank
Cool.
you, John. That's
My
Thank
wonderful.
you so much, John. All right. Thanks,
Well,
everybody.
Thank you for watching. We will see you next week.
Take
Yay.
care.
You've been listening to Both Sides Now, featuring the unconventional duo Dr. Shirley and Kellee White. Two perspectives, one world.